Hey everybody, good afternoon. What is going on? A little bit of a slow day today for football stuff. It is indeed Tuesday. Usually a lot doesn't happen on Tuesday. I think the Seahawks signed Jerry Rice's son to the practice squad earlier today, but not a lot of really actionable stuff going on. And yeah, it's just going to be one of those slower days. So let's go ahead and do the rooting guide post mortem. Just take a look at where things are settling after another week of NFL football in the NFC. As it pertains to the Seahawks, it was definitely a mixed week in terms of non-Seahawks game results. Let me actually zoom out a little bit here so it's a little bit better formatted. Obviously, a lot of games that don't affect the Seahawks at play now, but of the ones that did, it was all right. It was all right. We almost came very close to having a really nice week outside of Seahawks games, though, so that was too bad. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Right. So just kind of taking a look real quick at some of the results from last week. If you had any concern about the Commanders getting involved in a late season playoff push, that's pretty much done. They lost to the Dolphins. 8 losses now. I don't think that 9 wins is going to cut it for anybody in the NFC. So even if they win out now, and they're probably not going to, I don't think we have anything to think about there. Uh, Panthers hanging around here, and they do it at the expense of the Falcons. So that was really annoying that that went down. And not only did the Falcons lose the game, they also lost Michael Penix for the year. And as much as Michael Penix is not very good, he is better than Kirk Cousins is right now. So looks like that's just going to completely spin out of control and be a disaster for Seattle in terms of the pick that the Rams are going to get. Now, obviously, it also means the Falcons are no playoff threat in the NFC, but the Panthers are now here with a winning record. And I mean, hey, they, I don't, I don't really think they're going to actually do it, but they're sitting here at 6 wins. It's in play, right? They've hung around here. Wins like this, wins like the ones they had against Miami, going to help. Tampa Bay got pushed down, which is, that's kind of nice, right? Um, they're actually very close to getting into the wild card. Actually, I don't think it's going to happen, but there is a slightly dicey possibility of Tampa Bay becoming a wild card team behind Carolina, and then our head-to-head loss to Tampa Bay could become a big deal for a wild card spot if we're not careful. So that's not ideal, but it's still good that they lost. We need them to get pushed down a little bit to make up for the fact that they beat us. And we need to finish ahead of them the old-fashioned way. Vikings almost pulled off a miracle to end all miracles. I don't know how they were even in this game, but I mean, they had the lead with a couple seconds left. And Chicago 7-3, leading the division now. Same record as Seattle, so got to take them seriously. You gotta take a look at that Bears team and think to yourself, they they have a really tough schedule. That's one thing that's going on here, but I think they get the Steelers with possibly no Aaron Rodgers, if I recall correctly, and if that's the case, they're pretty good. They look like they're going to be finishing with a winning record at least, and if they can get maybe 2 tough games to go their way, suddenly that's an 11-win team. And look, if they win the division, it's not a huge deal, but for the time being, this Bears thing has gotten pretty serious. Luckily, it came at the expense of the Vikings, who are possibly in a situation where they have to win out to make the playoffs. Now, Seattle does play the Vikings later this year. It's not great that they're going to be completely desperate, but maybe it doesn't really matter. Maybe these Vikings are not good enough to even make that really a consideration. I don't know. But at least the Bears winning comes at the expense of the Vikings, so that's kind of nice. But the Bears, they're hanging around. They're more than hanging around. If the season ended right now, they'd be hosting a playoff game. Packers, they almost did it, man. They almost did it. This would have been a credibility-crushing victory for the rest of the year. Giants held the lead at various points late in this game even. Well, third quarter. I mean, I don't want to act like this was a last-second giveaway here, but it would have been nice. It would have been nice. You wouldn't have had to worry about Green Bay again. And honestly, that Green Bay team is still nowhere near as good as I thought they would be. So I'm not here to suggest that we need to be terrified of them just because they barely beat the Giants. But they continue to be on track to be a playoff team, even if they're not what we thought they would be when the season started. Steelers winning was nice just because of the strength of victory thing. And the Steelers might not be getting a ton of victories the rest of the way, depending on what's going on with A-Rod. So kind of nice that they were able to bank that. Same with Jacksonville beating Los Angeles. That's nice for the strength of victory. But the 49ers, they continue to win the games that are placed in front of them for relatively easy wins, right? Like these games that, with all their injuries, they might be in line to give away. They're holding on. So 7-4, they look like they are probably a playoff team at this point with their remaining schedule. So again, this is kind of what I speak to sometimes about the NFC getting crowded. The NFC gets crowded very easily right now, and somebody good might get left out very easily. And I don't think it's going to be Seattle, but it's not impossible. And Philly keeps winning. At least it comes at the expense of the Lions. But we're now in a spot where it's going to be really hard to catch Philly. Like I know that the getting the top seed is obviously kind of a stretch goal, but right now getting the top seed in the NFC is looking like a long shot, even if we do win the division, because we keep losing within our division and within our conference. And Philly just finds a way to keep on winning, even if it's ugly. They put it together, man. And the Cowboys also kind of hanging around here with the win over Las Vegas. I'm not saying that we need to be super mindful of them because they still have to play. I think they get one more game against Philly. I think that they've got another couple of games. Like they already played Denver, but they still have to play like Kansas City, I think, and even a team like the Chargers is not going to be easy. So somebody's probably going to take them out, but they are hanging around here. So I mean, it kind of fluctuates from week to week. So I don't want to be too reactionary to it, but you can see how if the Rams win the division, how easy it would be for Seattle to slip and end up a really good team to not make it. And that's not me trying to make anybody like scared or anything. That's just me talking about the situation at hand. So Seattle's in a position where to win the division, they probably need to win out. They might be able to get away with losing to the Colts, win out otherwise, and win the division, but that's actually starting to get a little bit dicey. And if they lose to the Rams, it's basically over, of course. If they lose to the Niners, that could actually be a problem as well. So we'll just have to see how things go. But the division hopes took a big hit this week, and also the 1 seed, the hopes for the 1 seed also really looking distant right now. But you got Green Bay, you got San Fran, and San Fran, remember, for the moment has the tiebreaker. And in order for Seattle to have a chance at taking that tiebreaker back, they almost have to not only beat San Fran, of course, but also beat LA later in the season. And then you got Detroit and Carolina outside the playoff picture right now. And I know Detroit's lost a couple now, but that's a good team. And I think we know we're going to see them hang at some point later this season. I don't think they're just going to go away. So you can see that somebody that looks like they're going to make it right now may not make it. And it's possible that team is up here with the Bears. I could see the Bears slipping because they have a really hard remaining schedule. But if it's not them, Seattle, Green Bay, San Fran, Detroit, somebody is getting left out in the cold here. And it could end up being us. So we got to keep winning. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. See you guys soon.